Hi there, welcome back to the next video. And in this video, as you can see, the topic is what is data science. And if you have observed in every other journal, blog, or even from the person, you will hear that they want to go in the data science field. So that's why today I want to show you, or I want to tell you about some of the history of the data science, how it became popular, what really has contributed, and give you some meaningful idea about what really the data science is directly from the horse's mouth. That means the person who has created this word, as well as those guys who have actually contributed for its success or make it more popular. So all of that I will talk about, and finally I will talk about the data science process. So do watch it till the end so that you have the complete knowledge. Well, I would say maximum knowledge, if not complete, about the data science, because even I cannot guarantee about the complete data science knowledge, because the field is really vast and you need years of experience to really know each and everything about the data science. So let's go ahead and first of all see about who really created this buzzword of data science. So the name, as you can see, is William S. Cleveland, who in 2001 wrote the article or the paper Data Science: An Action Plan for Expanding the Technical Areas of the Fields of Statistics. So the summary is basically over here, and I will read it for you. An action plan to enlarge the technical areas of statistics. That's the important. Enlarge the technical area of the statistics. And if you have seen my previous video, I've talked about the machine learning, which I said it's basically the most advanced version of the statistics. So that's basically I have adopted that term from here, that enlarge the technical areas of statistics focuses on the data analyst. The plan sets out 6 technical areas of work for a university. Now, this is more of a university specific wording that he is saying, that they need to focus on the 6 technical areas, and advocates a specific allocation of resources devoted to research in each area and to the courses in each area. So they wanted to develop a course related to the data science, and that's what William S. Cleveland has suggested. Now, the value of technical work is judged by the extent to which it benefits the data analyst, either directly or indirectly. And that's how you see that over the period of years, the data science stream has evolved so much that you see a lot of different aspects around it, and which I will talk you in my last slide. The plan is also applicable to government research labs and corporate research organization, and that's absolutely true. Whether it is a government organization today or it is a corporate organization, they are looking at the data science as the field of study so that they can take the maximum output from the data that they are storing. But was this enough to really make the data science popular? I mean, an article and understanding, creating the courses. Well, I say no, and I'll give you the reason why. So this approaches that you use in the data science, things like machine learning algorithms, for example, random forest, logistic regression, XGBoost, or even advanced learning like neural network, for example. Neural network specifically was available sometime around the 1960s. That means you had the algorithm available in the 1960s, but it was not popular. Why? Because the capacity, the processing power that was needed to basically store and process the data was made only available in the recent, first couple of years of the 2000, that means around 2000, 2001 or 2002. And if you remember, sometime around the 1999, the dot-com bubble was burst, and a lot of IT stock were come down to heavily, almost like pennies, from hundreds of dollars of share. And that's where really the era of big data started. So this has really contributed in the success of the data science, because now the hard disk were present in a very cheap price from various different companies, because the IT market was going down and everybody was offering their services or these products at a very cheap price, as well as some advancement into the technology. So all of this actually turned out into an ecosystem where the era of big data really started, and that contributed very heavily into the success of the data science. But this era started sometime around 2002 or 2003, and if you remember, and I'll try to connect it with the Google, because Google also at that time pretty new search engine, sometime around 1999 or 2000 it started, and 2002 or 2003 it started gaining the popularity. And in that popularity, the major problem or the major issue for Google was to basically first of all crawl entire web data, store it using the PageRank algorithm, find out which page has the most maximum relevance, and that they could really solve it with this start of the big data era, where the commodity hardware and all were really cheap, and they developed their own Google file system, Google distributed file system, which they then released sometime around 2007. And that's where some of the engineers from the Yahoo basically adopted and make it like little bit more matured as an open library, which is Hadoop as you call it today. So because of this, all of the ecosystem for big data was really developed in the period of 7 to 10 years. And sometime around 2010, Mike Loukides, who is the Vice President of Content Strategy for O'Reilly Media, really helped to bring data science into mainstream in 2010 with his article, What is Data Science? I will present all of the links related to the article in the description, so if you are interested in knowing those in details, you can read it. But I wanted to basically let you know who are all the guys who were really contributed into the success of the data science, what it is today, and everybody is getting benefited out of it. Well, Mike Loukides really helped, and after that Thomas H. Davenport and DJ Patil Thomas H. Davenport is from the Harvard University, a big advocate of the big data analytics, and really helped companies adopt the power of analytics. And DJ Patil, if you have heard, is like one of the very first data scientists even appointed by the government of the USA for doing the data science work. They basically coined this term as well as article saying that data scientists, the sexiest job of the 21st century. I think they did it sometime around 2012. Again, the link of the article is present in the description. You can go ahead and read it. But this, I would say, in my view, really were catchy for all of the guys, whether somebody is in the company or coming out of a graduation, whomsoever has read it. It has been used so many times in so many articles from the various different bloggers as well as publishers that I believe it has really contributed to its popularity at its best. So these are the guys who really contributed into the data science journey and made it the most demanding job that is available today. So right now, if you look at any government or any private organization data, there are millions of jobs out there for into the field of data science, as the data science is pretty big field. So there are different job types which are available, but they don't have enough skilled labor to do the data science work. And that's why people, whether from coming out from the engineering or graduation or MBA or any other field, like even chartered accountant, they all are really interested in knowing, okay, what's really data science is, and if so many jobs are available, why don't I just go ahead and do some courses to get some experience into the data science and make a fulfilling career. So that's where, you know, the trend is going right now. If you see, every other person wants to go into the data science field, but those who are new, if you are new into the data science, I would really like to show you a process and the relevant jobs that are available today into the field of the data science. So here it is, the data science process. If you see the first process into the data science, again, this is a very high level, and don't look at these guys. I have not deleted that, but the idea is just focus it on the title. That first process is basically the acquired data. Acquired data is one of the very first and foremost part for any data analysis, whether within the data science or outside of the data science, and the data is available from the various sources. For example, if you have a CRM system or any other system into the or operation system into your company, they basically provide the data either in the form of direct stream from which you can directly provide the data, or into the CSV file, or data is going into the databases. So one has to be really good in acquiring the data from the data sources. Some of the people, if you don't believe, with the title data engineer, are heavily involved in acquiring data and maintaining data so that the next steps can be done very easily. So the first title I told you about, the data engineer, whose main responsibility is to basically provide their excellent capabilities to gather the data and from the various different systems and maintain it in an infrastructure so that the next steps can be done very easily. And the next step, as you can see, is the process and explore data. Again, bit of an overlap between the data engineer and data science, because sometimes happens that the acquiring of the data become quite a regular process and nothing much of an effort required, and data engineer can really give bit of an help in terms of process and explore data, in terms of standard process like finding the outliers from the data, or setting up the cleaning of the data, which is nothing but the processing the data. And exploring the data is more of a job of a person who is good in analyzing data. It can be a data analyst, data visualization expert, or even data science if you don't have these two guys. So basically, explore data is something which is a job of a data analyst or a data scientist, and process data we can see either the data scientist can do if the person has the skill, or if it is really a big process, then you will have a dedicated data engineer to not only acquire the data but process the data, which then can be explored by the data analyst or the data scientist. And then after that, the real work of the machine learning engineer, I'm using a very specific term, machine learning engineer, that the person who knows about the programming into the R or Python or the relevant language which has the algorithm, for example MATLAB, and they know how to do the parameter tuning, how to run the entire process, because it's an iterative process that once you apply the algorithm, the results are coming out. Now either the machine learning engineer has, if the person has the knowledge of the statistics along with the programming, and that's what it makes a complete data scientist. If the person has that knowledge, can interpret the result and make it an iterative process to further improve it. Or if you or in your company you want to keep these two jobs separate, because there are like hundreds of models on which you want machine learning engineers to be just focused on making the iterative process based on the statistical analyst or the real data scientist who is responsible for analyzing and making the prediction, is basically giving the feedback back to the machine learning engineer, and machine learning engineer is then basically improving the algorithm based on the parameter tuning or various other different approaches that are available. And finally, the making the prediction, that's where you are interpreting the results that is coming out of the algorithm and helping the company making a prediction. For example, what will be my sales in the next quarter, whether this particular customer will result in a bad loan or a good loan, will it going to rain today or tomorrow, or maybe how will the monsoon be, so that you can advise accordingly to the farmers. Just think like how much impact this entire process can have on the entire economy if you are able to better understand well in advance. Same is with the company, if they can understand the entire ecosystem. For example, even companies today are applying it in a different processes like HR processes to really predict. Not, they don't want HR to spend countless number of hours just to select the resume. Just train the algorithm and make the prediction based on the based on what HR used to do earlier. So HR work is finally just to get the shortlisted resume out of the algorithm and basically do the work. Same is the case with the stock market. They have created the algorithm, that means based on the technical analyst, with let's say hundreds of technical analysts will do a job based on the looking at the chart, looking at the different metrics. One algorithm basically can do a job of your 100 technical and fundamental analysts who will really give the output to make the right prediction or make the right trade. So this is really vast. Every other company is acquiring it, and these are at a very high level the processes that you will see in the data science process, which will basically help you understand the different types of jobs that are available: data engineer, data analyst, data visualization expert, machine learning engineer, and finally either the data scientist and the business users. And then according to your interest, let's say you are very good into programming and like to play with the data, maintain the data, you can be a data engineer. Or if you are really interested in exploring the data, you have that creative mindset where you are really good in interpreting the data and exploring the data, making the visualization, you can go into the field of exploring the data. Again, a very high demand of visualization expert, because the right visualization can really save a lot of time and help explain what really machine learning is doing in that black box to the end user. And then the machine learning engineer is another job type which you can take if you are really good into the programming, wants to to play with the algorithms, want to create more algorithm, wants to improve algorithms. That's where you can really try your hand. And finally, making the prediction, the real data science job, by interpreting the output, which basically I would say the real data science job or a data scientist job, who is spending like countless number of months and years to really understand and the data, really interpreting the results and helping the company to improve its future. So that's pretty much about the data science process. And I hope this video has given you some good idea about the history of data science, how it evolved, so how big data contributed, and the different people who contributed it. And so this I try to cover mostly from the perspective from the interview question, because sometimes even in interview you face these kind of questions like how it all started, what do you think is the reason that data science is today, why it is today the way it is, and what should be the data science process, what are the phases that are involved. So I hope those sort of questions you will be able to answer if they are coming in your interview, as well as making you knowledgeable about the data science field if you really are planning to make a career into the data science. So wish you all the best, guys, and if you like the video, hit the like button and do share it with your friends and with your colleagues so that everybody helps you do the discussions about it. And if you have any question, you can always ask me in the comments and I'll be gladly able to help you. Thank you so much.